Again, that daily login reward item is a fave. There's those cryopods, the flat ones. I have no idea what they're using for the floor, the shiny floor. Here's that medical thing. It's that one that had that picture that we saw, super oversized in a different part. And see how they used just that little bit and had to hide everything else. Crazy. Airtight containers, I think, for the base of this. Okay, out here. You see just how complex this place is. Incredible. Okay, let's go this way. There's to be a cafeteria. Again, it's a Dominion conference table, but notice how they've got it sunk down so you don't see the bottom parts of the legs. And I like how they continue with the using certain items throughout the lighting and the graded panels as well for a lot of the decoration. It helps tie all of these different sections together. So we have a buffet here, it looks like, where you can grab and go. So you got your soups, those are just toxic barrels, or we also have the like the witch's brew and the bubbling cauldron. They all have that kind of bubbly, gooey stuff. I used to like to pretend that the one cauldron was like nacho cheese or something. All right, Bones, you have a good day. Thanks for dropping by. So it looks like they just got an assortment of foods. Now, the trays that they're using, those are the tops of the metal crates, I think. And they're just getting away with dumping in different items. The pizza is always a fun thing. It's 2 pieces of cheese. You've got one flipped over because the bottom of it is a little darker than the top of the cheese. So if you lay the bottom down first, that pretends that's your crust, and then you've got the top of the cheese for the actual cheese. And then in this case, they're using something that I did in the very beginning when I started making my own pizzas, was the Bandit Dynamite. Now, if you have access to things like the fireworks from the Starfall event, you can use the dynamite stick there. It's a nice red and it's a single round, and you can get away with that being like salami slices instead of little bunches like this. This could pass off as maybe sausage instead. If you're going for like tomatoes and stuff, the tops of the bar stools work really well. Uh, no, I'll probably just go ahead and just continue on today and finish it up, Bones, no matter how long it takes. Um, but yeah, we'll be back next week, hopefully. Fingers crossed, nothing goes weird. For the little, I assume this is supposed to be like maybe ice creams, or maybe it's like different kind of mashed vegetables. It's snow clumps, I think, and they've just recolored some of them. Here's the desserts. Um, this one here for the cake, it's snow blocks, and then you have the strain overgrowth for the trim, the icing. Some of the candies from the gingerbread assortment. Same way with the like the licorice bits and the peppermint trim, and then some of the berries, I think, for a little bit of extra. Again, more of the gingerbread candies, all the little desserts, anniversary cupcakes. And I guess this would be the ice creams here. Maybe the others was like some kind of like I said, mashed vegetables or something. Let me see if I can identify all of these. That's the pink pillow. It's not the one. There's like two different pink pillows. This is the like more raggedy one. That's the orange window, the orange one. The purple pillow, it's the same thing, and it's over here on the other side of the cake. Snow clump here, green pillow, and this is the upside down barnacle weed. It's the one that I always say looks like chocolate, and that's what it looks like here. I think it's this little weird swirl thing that gives me that idea, not just the color, but I think it's that little swirly texture that's on there. For this little sign here, that's part of the Gatorade machine. If you push it in just enough, the sign will still appear, but the machine disappears. So it's really handy if you're looking for some kind of different billboard signs or advertisement signs or something like that. Here's the drink machine, really nicely done. It's staircase landings. All of these edges here appear to be wall ends, the little lip of it. Again, great way to use the posters if you don't want to use them just as posters. A lot of people use them in books and things like that, but this is like soft drink labels. Detonators for the little buttons, and Merg dynamite for the little nozzles. Then we have the tea and coffee area. Floors and such for the main body of the cabinet. Little mini pots for the sugars and stuff. Of course, this particular tea set comes from the spring decor pack, I believe. I think this is part of, it's either the Chua tank or it's part of that honey factory looking thing. The coffee machine itself is one of those body analyzers. And then they have the exotic silver chalice. This is a prized item because a lot of people like to use it for water, like we saw in that one plot that had like just it was Aurora's Pirate Cove. Basically, they're using this part here, I think it is, or the bottom of it. It has some strange collision rules to it, and the larger it is, the deeper the water appears to be. So not many people use it in this instance like this. They usually save it for water features on their plot. Hey, Ost. Good you could join us. Um, uh, Magnetized containers for these drawers here. Let's see, what else, what else? I suspect back here is the kitchen, and what an amazing kitchen it is. This is the back side of the ship hand lockers. A lot of people like use it for like washer and dryer setups because of the way it looks. Staircase landings again, Merg dynamite. The sink is built in here, so that's where all of these little brackets and stuff are coming from. But that's the magnetized containers again. The ovens, of course, are actual ovens. They've just got multiples of it and kind of built it up so that it looks a little fancier. More of those staircase landings. Over here, you've got one of the red moon panels. I believe these are from that emergency warning system. Again, it's the bird cage with the little dead canary in the bottom. Top has some of these buttons here. This part here where it looks like oven that's on, I think that's part of the Chua fireplace. It's like Chua tech rod or hot rod fireplace. It's one of those. Over here is like the little frozen meat bits for storage. Again, great use of the corpses. They're not so pretty to look at, but the idea is there that, you know, they butcher the animals and then cook it off and serve it as foodstuffs. Pretty standard food goodies here. This is one of those Winterfest tree shelves, and they're using it as a shelf for their sauces and such. I think the logs here, I think it's the green thorny logs, they're being used like asparagus, I suspect. The panels here for the ovens or whatever, that's travel posters, and then Chua cups, the bottoms of them for the knobs. For this little like animated effect that is it's frying, I think that's the back side of that. It's either the uh, toilet or one of the engine pieces. I think there's an engine or a cannon piece that also has this animation here. It's one or the other. And then of course the dripping faucet is from the sink. It's the same sink here. They've just kind of got it a little more hidden. And again, the smoke, you can see how it's a little more dominant than the one we saw earlier. So I suspect this is one of the toxic tanks or the like bubbling cauldron or something for that. This here that they're using as a blender, that's one of the uh, Space Chase ship pieces. I think it's like like the front end, like the bridge or the deck of it. They've added spoons for the little blender bits, and then the handle is a vintage beer mug, I believe. And then the contents in the bowl is a snowy clump, I think. Snow clump. Again, another corpse that they're working on butchering. They're pretty gruesome looking. For these cabinets, those are just hover park pieces with the same handles as they're using elsewhere. Okay, I think that's it for the restaurant. Move along. Okay, we went down that way. It looks like, I think this is the entrance to that other part that we just visited earlier, but I'm going to look anyway. Yeah, this is where we come down earlier. So it's another entrance to the bridge. This bit here, that's a Winterfest fireplace. Fireplace part, I think, is down here. You can't see. And then this would be the prefab home, which is another Osun building for this particular plot. Now, the green lighting, I think, does come from these here. Those are, I think it's called the Eldon antenna. They give off some pretty creepy light. I liked using it for my Shades Eve themed area because the light's pretty expensive and it has that nice little streaky look from the shadow work, I guess. These bits here, I think it's from the generator. It's just the very end of them that has that little emblem there. Let's head inside. So again, this is an interior of a prefab home, and they've just completely changed it out. Again, keep in mind, we've had one of these on every single plot we visited on this community, and you can see how different each one looks. One was a medical lab thing, the other had like some combat stuff and shops, and this one, I don't know, let's have a look around here. Again, rated floor panels galore. Some of the circuitry, I think. I want to say these are part Dadscape windows, but I'm not for positive on that. Technophage doors for some of these potted plants. I guess this is the where they do the herbs and garden area. Like this here, these are the trellis, and then they've added on the pumpkins. And on this side, they've added berries to make it look like a grapevine. This part is that captain's chair that we saw from the bridge. Here are some of those different gloomy, what do you call it, like creeper plants from like Little Shop of Horrors. The little cubicles here, those are just the called portable planters. Some of those pipes from the Palavar Point Daily. You can see another set down here as well. And then curved glass to make it a little container here. Medical table, bookshelf that's been kind of packed in, so you only see a couple of the shelves. Drooping gorge fruit to make it look like it's another type of plant instead of the berries. Here's that cryopod that we saw in some of the other areas. It's being used as a planter this time. That medical thing, which I don't know the name of, that's just the back of it there. Lovely little garden area. Notice the Osune chain, and they've added in a lot of greenery and the blossom plants, overgrowth and everything to kind of make it look like ivy running up the chain. Now, some of these plants are from the newer decor packs. I don't know if it's the underwater ones specifically or the alien plant pack, but it might be a combination of both. The little haze that you see, I think that's from the spooky, like where it's possessed or whatever it's called. It has that kind of weird little gaseous aura. I can't be for positive because I can't see where I can like click on it. But I think that's what it's from, or it's haunted, I think is the word that it's used. There's a couple of Shades Eve items that do it. It's like the Jack Shade head on a stick, and then there's one with the, looks like the blonde wig mask or whatever. I think it's those two. There may be one or two others, but those two come to mind. When they're haunted, they give that misty, glowy effect. It's really good for spooky house and stuff, but it works perfectly here to give that misty, jungly kind of feel, like it's very humid in here and there's a lot of moisture. The little vine thingies here, I think that's from, yeah, it's from some of those new plants. I have no idea what most of this is. I think these yellow bits and these like little, almost reminds me of peacock feathers. All of those come from that newer decor pack. This item here, the infused habanero bloom, a lot of people like to use that for water because it has that animated gooey stuff. If you can position it just right and make sure that the water flow matches what you're wanting, that can have a pretty nice look to it for like a river or a waterfall or some such. Now they actually have a waterfall here. It's one of the newer ones. It's not very visible against the brightly lit exonite walls, but you can see a little bit of it, the animation down here too, just a touch. Again, it's kind of hard to see. A lot of different plants and things. This is a great place to be able to, you can get away with putting all sorts of ones together without worrying about, I mean, there's like some um, pine trees from like Algarock and stuff, but then you also got the far side space wheat in here. Um, there's some bits from like uh, Blighthaven, like the exonite trees and such. And then you have regular bushes from like Celestion and everything. It's fun that you can blend all of those together and still have them look like they belong in that way. Okay, let's back up. That's where we came in, so let's go this way. There's some more of those goo hatcheries. Again, I can't possibly tell you what all of these bits are. I imagine a lot of it's antennas and spaceship parts, because there's so many of these blue bits that kind of resemble that. The spider webs with the augmented bits, I think those come from the graveyard fab kit. You would think you'd get the plain cobwebs from that one, but I think it's the augmented version because I think there's one of these spider NPCs on that particular fab kit, and you have to escape it or battle it or something, and then you get a chance to get some of these augmented spider webs. But don't remember where the augmented eggs come from. I'm not sure if those are direct buy or if you have to get them as a drop or not. But there are different kinds of spider eggs. A lot of people like use them for different kinds of foods or ice creams and stuff. I've used some as popcorn. So there's a lot of uses for them, even if you don't want to use just as spider eggs. This little shelf thing here, that's one of the Marauder net shelves. It's the one that has the hole in the middle. A lot of people like use that as doors, in fact. These, I think, are technophage tubes, but then they're on top of the holograph sign, shop sign. That's why you have that animation there, because it's actually the letters are moving, um, but you just don't see them because they've got it on top of there. Again, there's that, I think this is what they were using on the stove for the little bit of fire effect. That some kind of engine piece or part of a cannon or gun or something. You can see this medical tables and then magnetized containers. These are airtight containers. Using that weird thing again for the Bunsen burner, as they did upstairs or in the other zone. Again, the color shifting is real helpful when you're trying to do something like this, to make it look like different files of different medicines or poisons or whatever it is you're playing around with. There's that medical thing. They've used this in tons of places here, but it's always different parts of it. This is pretty close to what it looks like all by itself, but not completely. I think they still got part of it hidden. Again, these are, I think, some of that Marauder bit, and they've just recolored a bunch of them. These deals here, those are the Dominion shelf. Now that item is quirky in that if you have it just in your inventory, I think it's called Imperium shelf, but when you crate it to your house, it turns into Dominion shelf. It's that or it's vice versa. It's one of the two. So if you have one and you put it in your crate and you can't find it, it's probably that's why, because it actually the name changes for whatever reason. It's a little irritating, but if you are aware of it, it makes it a little easier. Those are the technophage emitters. A lot of people like to use that in their discos and such. Ichthyon tanks, and then a different version of Ichthyon tank, and then they've actually inserted some strainy stuff as samples. Oops. There's a good view of the garden from up above. I mean, you can see the care in setting up the room, making it look like piping and stuff. This bit here, I have no idea what this is. It looks familiar, but I'm not sure. But it makes for a nice, like, some kind of a painting or artwork. Okay. Downstairs we go. Datascape windows. Very Eldony down here. Again, I'm not sure what all these parts are. We're getting into some stuff I really don't mess with too much. It looks amazing though, and the colors, you know, obviously, if it's Elden related, there's going to be a lot of green and gold. Um, it looks like someone taller than me just wouldn't be able to get through there. I can't imagine a Macari or something walking, their head would like knock off right to this way. Now, a lot of builders like to use their NPCs I mean, we've seen quite a few throughout our visit to this community. Myself, I tend to not use them as much. I say that in my Proto Mall has quite a few, but generally speaking, I tend to not. One, I usually don't get a hold of a bunch, and most of my plots are more personal. They're not like battle ready kind of things. So I have a lot of like armored up uh, personnel and stuff, but I just don't have any reason to use them. They don't fit like in a garden scene or something, and with all their swords out and everything, it just seems weird. But it's nice to see others being able to use them so plentifully with like the boss NPCs and the robots and stuff. I don't know what kind of cage thing this is. I assume it's an actual item, and they've just got to insert. You don't see all of it. But again, soul frost tubes, and I think this here is part of that bookshelf. And then, of course, the datascape window, a lot of the circuitry from the technophage bit for the lights down there. I have no idea what most of this is. I just say technophage or Elden. That's about as good as it's going to get. Again, I don't know what that piece is. We've seen it several times in this build, but here's those Elden antennas. the same one they're using for the entrance of the door that makes it lit up all nice and green. You see some of it here. This bit here, that's that space diorama piece. Really nicely done. It's just very bright. Oof, for my taste. There's a bunch of purple now. These are the ones that remind me of gas pumps. I don't remember the name, but. And don't click this if you don't want to go to another place. You can see they've got a little strain room here. A lot of the eye splotches and the strain overgrowth and everything. Apparently they got this cordoned off pretty good. Okay, that's it for this bit. Let's see. Art. Did we go up here? Okay. Getting a little lost. Okay, I think that was it for that one. I guess that's it for Delta Wing. I'm not for positive on that, but I don't see any other doorways. And if we go to the upstairs, that's just part of the bridge and stuff again, although that might have been what most of that plot was used for, was the upper area. So off to visit the final plot, which is B, which I guess would be beta. We go by all of the other terms. Yeah, we only got like 15 minutes before we hit the 2-hour mark, so it's definitely going to run over, guys. So if you want to head off, that's fine. I'm here for the long haul, and we'll just break it down too. So it'll end up being 3 videos for this entire plot when it's all said and done. Yeah, Bravo Wing for the final plot. Again, a lot of technophage. The door, the tubes. This appears to be a casino or gaming room. You can see they've got a lot of the arcade decor out, not just on the walls and a lot of the signs and stuff, but even on the floor. Here, I assume this is where you get your tokens or whatever. That little bit here, I think that's the wizard sign or magic sign. Very colorful. The air hockey item, that's an as-is item. For those of you that got it, it's pretty fun. You can see that they're actually using another one up top. It's just upside down to make it look like the sign for it. But it's the same item, it's just hidden up into the roof. This is another fave for folks to create. I've seen several versions of this. It's the Dance Dance Revolution. This was a little bit more elaborate than I've seen in the past, but I still got a lot of familiar items like the Soul Frost tubing that they've recolored. That's the standing screen, the technophage emitter, the shop signs, airtight containers. The round circles are the beer signs. They just pushed it in so you just see the round. A lot of people, including myself, like to use them for oven, for like the heated, like electric oven or stovetop, I guess I should say. And then the arrows, of course, are the other signs, the ones with the octopus on them. And then they've elaborated a little bit more with framed glass, indicate the actual panels. Having the dancing NPCs helps sell the idea that that's what this is. And of course, it's all set up on top of a maintenance platform. This is a technophage panel, probably one of the few thin circle pieces we have. Over here, above is the Macari table. You got a couple of the captain's chairs. These here are the Exile tactical tables. I think one's just been recolored. And I think these are just ships that they're using. I guess it's supposed to be like a simulator game of some sort. Airtight containers for all of this part. I don't remember what this dome thing is called, but it's just a single piece. Oops. And then again, I think you're supposed to be playing as like these simulator NPCs. I guess they behave as if you control them and have a little battle or something. A little close knit, but I guess the idea is there that you come in with your teammates and you play a little mock battle. Over here we have a bowling alley. Again, we've seen many iterations of this particular idea. It's always fun to see how others set it up. Again, here's that weird item. I think it's, looking at it now in its whole, I think this is the Dominion, what's it called? Like security gate or something. It's one of those. There's like the Exile version, and this is the Dominion one. I know that's not the name, but it's something like that. For the bowling balls, they're using just the sporty spheres recolored, but we have seen some use the bottoms of the files. Some have used the massive ocular sphere, and then of course the domes, sandwich two of them together, and you can have a solid sphere that way. All of that works fine. The bottom of this, I suspect it's the bottom of uh, the couch, maybe the purple couch, but I'm not for positive on that. This again, I think is some of that arcade stuff. The pins are little protostar guys, technophage emitters, some of the arcade signs. The bright blue is the neon sign. It's the star beer sign. Edges of them. A lot of people like to use that for lettering for neon signs that they make up themselves. For example, Katya has used it as part of her scoreboard for some of her game plots. The ceiling is the datascape window. This here, I think, is part of the uh, Protostar Winterfest shelves, Protostar shelves or something. It's like the 3-tier thing, and I think this is like the 2 bottom ones. The gear trophies here on top of the Dominion chairs, which I believe are upside down. Moving along. Another type of simulator game. Some of these are the new train car pieces, if I'm not mistaken. This part here, I think, is Draken fencing. Make this look all stony with rocks and such. I think it's just like the tops of them. Here we have the actual arcade machines. These are as is. I think they come in different colors, but if you have the color shifting, you can do that on your own that way. We've also seen some folks actually makeshift their own. Uh, I did one, I think it was it Digbert or something? Something like that, can't remember. Here's an example of a custom little arcade game using travel posters, a lot of the detonators, and of course the Gatorade or Gatorade machine. That's the little header there for like a pinball type of deal. Here's the other version of the arcade game there. That is that. Let's see, do I want to go this way or that way? Let's go this way, I guess. I like the little soda sign here. Again, this part's here, that's part of the Gatorade machine. Again, they've just pushed it so you just see the sign and not the machine. And of course, we colored the beer cans to make it look like different drinks. A lot of Red Moon stuff, the bars and the panels. Okay, I guess this is a public bathhouse. You got a lot of lockers. These shelves here are just upside down Dominion bookshelves using the sleeping bags as rolled towels. These towels here actually come from the boxing gym fab kit. If you can just make it past uh, the fourth opponent, you get a chance at this towel or the one with the carrot on it. So you got a 50-50 chance if you're trying to stock up on these towels for whatever reason, if you're needing a lot of clothing or wanting to use it as a curtain or something, whatever it is, you're needing extras. As long as you can get past the fourth opponent of that challenge, Fab Kit challenge, you can get a chance at one of these. Now, if you manage to complete the entire challenge, um, you have a chance to get in the kitchen sink. I've never made it that far. I always lose before I get there. But if you can manage it, that's great. But if you only do up to the fourth challenger and then get one of the towels, you just leave the fab kit till it says it's failed. Then you can go back and do it all again. So you can repeatedly, you don't have to wait like the half hour or something between if you complete the challenge to the next time you can do it. The towels you can just keep doing, keep doing, keep doing, however long it takes you to do the first four opponents. Sounds kind of like cheating or something, but it's just something I figured out when I was trying to save up for them for a different project. So yeah. The little towel racks is part of that uh, medical cot, I believe. The showers here, those are the end cap pipes. It's the same one that you get the L pipe and the vertical pipe and the sewage pipes from. It's the Palavar Point Daily. You have a chance at getting that. And then they've added the Red Moon vent on the end, same way down here for the drains. The little control panels is the backs of those Marauder panels again. And a little bit of a bathroom. Same stuff. Toilet for the hand dryer. For the cabinet here, I think again it's part of this bookshelf. It's just more oversized and being used for the cabinet for the sink. Wow. Okay, let's go back this way first. I finished looking at the shower part. For the pool itself, you can see it's pretty shallow, not too deep, so you just kind of would have to sit in it to get the full effect, I guess. The animation is coming from the waterfalls. The waterfalls themselves have animation on the top and the bottom where the water actually hits. So if you put those in, it has that steamy uh, smoke coming up and the little swirly bits at the bottom. Now this one here, I think that's an actual old waterfall style, and these are the newer ones that you can get from the decor pack in the shop. The artwork on the walls, you can see they're using a lot of the newer um, stained glass windows, and then these parts I think are just oversized versions of those. This part here I think is stepping stones from Starcom Basin. That's another quickly to access item. It just takes like the first level of reputation to obtain or to unlock. These pillars here come from the Red Moon stuff. I don't know if it's something purchasable or if you just have a chance at getting it if you go through the raid or whatever. Looks awesome, but I don't think it's a super easy item to get a hold of. Okay, so let's go through this way. So this looks to be like the gym. So you have a little panel here with, I don't know if this is supposed to be jump rope or what, but the mats are some of the uh, beach towels. They have three different versions. They got the flat, the folded, and the rolled. And then three versions of each of those. This is the striped one. There's another one that's like candy stripes, so it's like multicolor stripes. And then there's another one that's got seaweed design on it. But that's all from the summer decor packs. It comes with that and a bunch of other summer goodies like beach balls and stuff like that. This here, I have no idea what this is supposed to be. I don't know if this is like a hamster wheel kind of thing where you run inside it. I suspect that's what that might be because it looks like it's got the tires that the circular part would roll on, but it's like cylinder pieces, a little bit of framed glass, the Protostar panel, and then all of the different little panels on the side for monitoring your progress, I guess. Of course, these are the standalone treadmills. They're very noisy. I have my sound turned down so I don't really hear it, but from past experience, they're pretty loud. Um, this here, they've got the, I don't know what these are called, the ones where you pull down on the bar and the weights go up. Kind of dark, hard to see, but you can see most of it is pillars, some tires, a little bit of chains, um, more tires. These down here, I can't make out what that is. So I'm not quite sure what the weights are. I think it's some kind of Osun drum or something. And here you have the dumbbell version. Again, I think it's the drums being used as the weighted ends, and then a sparking wire for the beam across. You can see a little bit of the spark on this side. Now just be aware that the sparking wire has no collision, so you can pass right through it. For those of you that like to use it for like bars for like a prison or something, you may have to add some extra little something in there to kind of make it where it's solid. Like every third bar, make it an actual 2x4 or something. Or put in a layer of glass that people wouldn't normally see, but then it keeps them from passing through the bars. Something like that. And then here's like the little handheld dumbbells. Again, I think it's the Osun drums being used for those. Over here we have, looks like a stair step machine kind of setup. Looks like domes, suitcases, pillars, the spades, the thing that looks like a long-handled shovel. So it's like a cross-country thingy. I don't know what it's called. Here they've built in that boxing gym fab kit. That's what the fab kit looks like. Pretty standard. You just interact with the NPC and then the challengers come out one by one. I say one by one. Sometimes it's two challengers at once. It's like a double team kind of thing. But you have certain buttons that pop up that you use to engage in the challenge, which you can access this door here, which I will not be doing, but because I don't want to show how horrible I am at that. Because, like I said, I've never beat it. I've only been able to successfully, repeatedly clear it up to the fourth challenger, which is fine because I just want the towels. But anyway, so here's some practice dummies. Again, they've got that special animation. That's why I said earlier I thought it might be a target dummy that's being used underneath to give that animation with the swirlies and the lights and everything, because it has that. You just have to sink it down so they don't see the target dummy itself. I guess this is where you would pick up your weapons that you want to use on the target dummies. Again, a lot of careful planning in a setup like this, even just as a single uh, plot, not considering that it's part of a full-on system. Yeah, full-on community part, just the single plot itself, it's enormous. But to be able to think that they could blend all of them in together, because I'm not if I'm not mistaken, some of these were already built before the community system was set up. So they've had to figure out how to blend these all up. It's just crazy. I don't have that forethought. I build a little bit more organically, I think. I just start somewhere and then just kind of branch out, and it just becomes a jumble of mess. That's probably why I stick with smaller projects. Okay, we have entered the final interior. Again, I believe it's an Osun house. Here, I think it's those, uh, not outhouse, it's like I don't know the name of it, checkout house or something. I don't know what it's called. I think it's oversized here, and then they put in different panels with animations and stuff to kind of give it a different look. I think this is like a strip mall, by the way. So you have the comics. Again, the lettering is the flat pieces of the Hover Park set, the flat floors. Again, if you get too far away, some of the lettering might go bye-bye. Just depends. Like if you're trying to take a long distance shot, it's going to look a little weird. So you have to make sure you get close enough where everything is visible. See how close I had to get before the M finished? I back off just enough, the corner goes boop. And it's just how that works. It's frustrating, but that's the way it is. So this is the comic book shop. And of course, they're using the travel posters as the magazines or the comics, the graphic novels, whatever you want to call them. These shelves here, This part here, that's the upside down bolts, I think, box of bolts. Same way here. The only reason I kind of recognize that is because I've used it for shoes and boots. Because like I did a Frankenstein statue, and that's what I used for his feet. That's the only reason I recognize it. Strange how some of that stuff pops into your head. This is from, I think, the Space Taco stand. It's just the top sign on there. Some more of that arcade stuff. And of course, the panels are the Dominion scanners. The shelves themselves are those Winterfest Protostar shelves. Over here we have Cup of Joe, little coffee shop. Again, they're just using one panel sunk down inside the tablet computer to make it look like it's actually active. The cabinet here, that's the pile of bricks. A lot of people like to use that for floors. We've seen some use it for the walls of buildings and such. And then they got a 2x4 laying on top. It doesn't look like there's an actual door in here, so I'm going to see if I can just sneak in. Take a look at the kitchen here. We've got the cabinetry again. Looks pretty similar to what we've seen before. The handles are the vintage beer mugs. This complicated gadget here, I guess, is the espresso machine. There's like red moon lights. There's, I think these are the buttons off of that emergency canary cage thing. These are Chua cups, detonators for those blinky lights. This part here, I think, is part of the utility crate, the one that has like the wrench and the books and the other tools. I think that's part of that. These are Merg dynamite. These are hammer handles. Let's see what else can I recognize. The microwave is really nice. Again, it's a Chua oven or stove. It looks like one of those Marauder net shelves for the little microwave part. And then walls for most of this part here, I think. A red moon panel, and then those buttons again, the same that they're using over here. That's from the Red Moon decor pack. And the ovens, it's just two of them. It's not the bell version because it's a little bit more narrow and round. It's the regular long one. It's got like a cap on the top as well, I think. Now, if I can get back out, without getting stuck. Again, some of this is from the Dominion decor pack. I don't know the names of all of those individual items. Looks like a taco shop. Nice little sign job there. A combination of items to make it as well. Looks like it might be advertising a movie house in here somewhere. Again, it's those holograph bars and then the travel posters set up, nicely framed and everything. Again, Chua tech rod oven thingy. Same buttons as we saw before. I think, I don't know if this is supposed to be a popcorn machine or something. I'm not quite sure on that. Or it's just, maybe it's kebabs or something. I don't know. It looks too organized. It looks like maybe it's something else. I have no idea. But it looks like a spotlight, and then they've got the Winterfest emblem up top. It's the same thing I used for the little scooters at the candy factory that I made for. And then, of course, this is just one of the Protostar signs. 2 exile tables sandwiched together to make it look like a little countertop. Yeah, I think we're heading into like a movie theater type setup. I don't know what this is. I've not seen that before. Nifty looking, but so here's the theater. Even got a couple of folks watching. A couple of the space diorama bits make it look like a sparkly ceiling there. Pretty straightforward on this as well. We've had some that actually go through the trouble of making a little scene. Others would have this set up not just as a movie theater, they might actually have an actual stage with curtains and a little scene set up in there. A lot of folks, when they do it that far, they like to change it for seasons. So they'll have a winter scene set up for the winter months and a beach scene for the summer, that kind of stuff. Oh, my stomach's like growling. Okay, go this way. I like the setup here. Your tickets, the booth there. Hats, tattoo shop. Let's have a look. Yes, this is the different inks, different tattoo images that you could get. Again, travel posters just being nicely blocked in. The little laser, again, I think that's the communicator thing. It's the same thing that I said that someone used as a disco ball kind of setup for their disco, and the same thing that we saw in the fight simulator room. I think it was on the first or second plot that we visited here, where they had multiple lasers coming out. That's what this is. So she's getting tattooed, I guess. They're using the medical drips and then they color shifted them to make it look like different colored inks. The table itself looks like a combination of the drill piece, there's a wall piece, and then it looks like a cannon or gun bit here, and the same item here, just a different part of it. I think. I don't know for sure. This here is like the Chua desk, but then it's also got the magnetized container. And this wall here is the same stuff this is, it's just oversized. The honeycomb looks bigger, about the only difference. The hookah place, it's just a kind of a faux shop. Can't really see anything. Nice use of the old style waterfalls to make this little water feature here. And again, it's just multiples of those stained glass windows. This one here, same one. Again, charming bars for this arched ceiling part. Okay, pool tables. We've seen a lot of these. This is a little more simplified because you don't see the pockets or anything. But they've got the files. It looks like they recolored those for different colored balls. Some go to the extent of like having the triangle rack. A lot of us add in little pockets. Some use like the bottoms of glasses. I've used the top of the um, judge's hat. Vent tanks work really good, the bottoms of those, because it's kind of a really dark black, so it makes it look like a pocket or a hole. Some actually have a little gap, little pocket where the balls that have already been shot in land. Some have actually added on little um, uh, netting pockets on the sides using like the Chua netting. For the cue sticks, it looks like they're using sparking wires and then topping it with a Merg dynamite. Others have used those uh, the spades, but some have used like the handles of the mops. Uh, some just use 2x4s. There's a number of things that people have gotten away with using. The uh, Drake and Spears are another favorite. I think I've used that a couple of times myself. The fireplace here is basically just the Exile one, and then they've covered it up so you don't see the blue of it. I don't know what pieces are all of this, but it looks nice. There's that bald-headed lady that we were seeing the back of the portrait quite a bit in the other places. There's the cue rack there. I like how they're using these frames nicely to kind of make it look like a portrait of a sword or a painting of a sword. This is just an oversized of that landscape portrait there. A lot of folks like to use that for the background of a theater as well to kind of make it look like a landscape in the back. Notice the little votive candles. It's a candle with a glass around it to make it look like it's part of the table. Over here we have the bar. Uh, exotic panels here. I think that's a detonator with a couple of the garden hoses. And then on top is the tank. More of the Chua tanks, I think, and lots of the garden hoses. Staircase landings, Chua dynamite, or explosives, not Chua, Merg dynamite, there we go. This part here, I'm honestly not sure what this is. I think we've seen it and talked about it before and figured out the name, and then I've just forgotten since then, so not even gonna try. Draken walls for this countertop here. Neon signs for this lighting here, I think, or maybe it's part of the divider. I think it's got a little bit of glowy too. The Redmond lights for all of that for the fridge. Again, I don't think it actually gives off any light, but look how bright it looks compared to everything else. This is crazy. Faux doors are just flat metal tables with the rectangular window added on. And then the vintage beer mugs for the handles. A little bit of a food buffet thing going on. Tables again, that I think is a table, the exotic table set down below the fancy one. Make it look like a rug of some sort. Here we have, I guess, the VIP group with the stage here, the performer. I don't know what this piece is. I think it's a standalone with the wings, but this is a Marauder thing, and then of course the microphone sticking out here. Probably the more fave thing is the Soul Frost infused band equipment here. You've got a drum set. We've seen a few of these, but I don't think I've seen one like this particular setup. You've got the Soul Frost wells for most of the bluish effect. You've got a couple of the holograph bits to make it look like they're hovering. Plates for the cymbals. For the stands of the cymbals, it's all pillars for the main like bass drum, I guess. There's Red Moon vents. I can get a shot here. For the little pedals down here, it's spoons, a hammer, and then this part here, the gold part, that's the back side of the Hugel portrait. Over here we have the piano or keyboard. Again, it's a lot of those Sofrost panels, the little sections that you can get. They built up the main part of it with that. And then the keys themselves are books. It's a fave way of doing the keys. It's just yellow books and then the blue ones for the darker keys. The Sofrost tubing for the legs on the front. And then I suspect either maintenance platforms or travel posters for the gray part here. Hold up the music book. And then we have a guitar with a, I guess that's what it, amplifier. Travel posters, Tua cups, detonators, graded floor panel, and lots of Sofrost bits. All the little brackets and such. Oh, scared the crud out of me. Apparently there's someone at the front door. They'll just have to leave us a note. Some chains for the strings, I guess. It's a pretty cool looking guitar. It's probably one of the better ones I've seen. Okay, so that's it for this part. Did we go this way? Yes, this is a little VIP room with a chessboard. It's just shrunk down pieces like the Hugel statues and some of the busts. And then the board itself, I think, is just a graded floor panel. And then one larger piece, probably a backside of one for the black squares. And then the lighter squares are floor pieces, I think. And then, of course, we can't forget the little aquarium here. This is a standalone piece. I think it's called a Chua buoy, something buoy. The shells, of course, and some of the plants here are from the newer underwater set. And of course, you got the steam gliders. They're a big fave for playing as fish. You could also have like the sunfish plushie or the what's it called, the shelark, little looks like a turtle kind of thing. For the base, for the sand or whatever, the soil, that's just, it's this item here, the barnacle weed, but it's upside down for the bigger parts of it. And then, of course, overgrowth for that backside to kind of block it in. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. We didn't go behind stage, I think. Backtrack a little bit. Yeah, here's a little dressing room for the performers. This item here, I think, is Dominion only, from what I recall. I've never used the item myself. It looks nifty and it's got some nice coloring and stuff, but I don't think it's available for us on Exile side. Okay, let's see. Nope, this way. Gonna get lost in just this little section here. I'm not sure what they're using for the floors and walls here. I suspect it's one of the walls or fence pieces that has some of that stone on there, and they've just got it super oversized to make up for it. But I can't say for sure. Okay, so that's it for this interior, the final interior of this plot. Moving on. So we got another upper section there. We'll come back to that, I think. The wisest bit. Okay, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. Looks like it's meant to be like a battle arena. I see some weapon racks here, I think. And I'm not really sure. Some kind of arena, maybe. Some Soul Frost stuff, Osun stuff. I'm really not sure about most of the things I see in here. I see some more of the tubing. Yeah, it looks like an observation deck up here. Probably what you get to from the little elevator we just passed. But I have no idea if that's what it's supposed to be. I think this is from one of the anvils or something. A little smoky bit. Okay, that was it for there. So yeah, I guess we're going up now. I like the booths here. It's just uh, Draken floors or walls being used as a table in the backing, and then just have the orange chairs inset in there. Yeah, I guess it's some kind of a battle arena kind of thing. Here's another little bar set up. Similar to what we've seen before, just maybe some different mugs and such. You got the little tiki bottles there. I guess this is where the announcers come and talk about the fights. Commentate. Okay, I feel like we're at a dead end here, so I'm gonna backtrack some more. Make sure I didn't miss something. No, looks like we hit all of it. This is the gym and everything. Okay. I think that might be it, folks. I'm gonna take another look down the main corridor just to make sure I didn't miss anything, but yeah, okay. There's this here, the post office. I don't think we went in there. Just got tons and tons of the mailboxes, the Dominion version, obviously. There's the Tua version. Anything else? No, that appears to be it, peoples. So yeah, amazing concept having this as just one single giant ship, and then you have the different wings. I guess this is Alpha, Charlie, Echo, Delta, and Bravo. Um, Nicely set up, good way of being able to get access to each area or zone or wing or whatever you want to call it. Yes, it's a little on the oversized as far as just I mean, you can see how in comparison there's like tons of space, but it doesn't bother me too badly. I gather that this is, maybe there's vehicles that come through here and they need the space or something. I'm not going to nitpick at that because as you go into the different rooms and stuff, even though maybe the ceilings are a little vaulted or whatever, um, it still doesn't feel uh, like everything else is super oversized. It's not like going into one of those houses where the top or the bottom of the chair is like where your head is, as if a giant lives there. I didn't get that feeling at all. It's just very spacious. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. Again, if you missed the first half of this, you can catch that on the highlights here on the Twitch channel, or you can visit it via YouTube. I have a channel there. It should be listed in both just the general house tours and in the separate um, community tours that I've set up as a playlist there as well. So yeah, if you missed the first part, you can always catch that one. Again, we do these tours every Wednesday, knock on wood. I won't be able to do a stream on the 31st of this month as I will be going to a dental visit. Yay for that. But beyond situations like that, we will be doing our best to do these every week. Now, when it comes to community tours, we will also likely be streaming the following day as we are today. That's simply because, one, I talk a lot. Two, there's just so much to see with these community plots that it takes longer to go through them, and I can't handle sitting for a full 4 to 5 hours. So I try to break it down a little bit so it's not so painful on my throat and everything. So if you're interested, please feel free to join us again. As well, if you can't make it to our live shows, again, you can catch them all on YouTube. We've got hundreds of videos backlog from the last couple of years that we've been streaming this. And it's not like we're going to be concentrating completely on community plots. I'm going to be doing quite a few of those because I'm trying to get some live streams of all of the winners and participants of Carbine's Community Showdown competition from last year. Um, so I will be going through all of those for sure, but I will be squeezing in some individual plot tours as well. So I don't want those of you that aren't involved in the community effort for these huge, complex mega builds not to feel left out. I won't forget to do some individual plot tours as well. We'll do a good mix of both. Um, in the meantime, though, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Appreciate those of you that have been supporting the stream, taking the time to spread the word to those that haven't heard about it yet. It's always appreciated. Of course, our main goal here is to inspire fellow builders to bigger and better things by showing them what others have been working on and what they've accomplished, and just the variety of things that can, come of these different items being put together in different ways. It's just amazing what you guys can put together, and I'm thrilled that I can, play my part in sharing that with others that might not necessarily get to see all of these places for one reason or another. So yeah, hope you'll join us later. In the meantime, have a good week, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.